Hello, folks. How are we doing? Welcome, everybody, to our first stream from the UK. Yeah, I feels like I haven't done one of these in about a month. Uh, but here we are. I know it's been like literally just a week. Like I was here with you guys last Thursday. I don't know, not doing them on Mondays really does make it feel like a long time between streams. Welcome everyone. How you guys doing? Pop is here, Bree's here with us. That's amazing. So glad you guys can make it. Yeah, so today we're gonna do a little bit of comic stuff. So oh actually I've got the wait. I've got the wrong setting here because I've got it for when we did our Gartic phone stream. There we go. That's better. Amazing. Okay, so I've got a bunch of references over here. Essentially, what we're going to do today is we're going to do a little bit of a comic book panels and stuff, and like kind of like arranging a little bit. Essentially, just like a short little like story with Tara. We did her whole like character thing, character sheet the week before last, and you guys know her and Lila and stuff. So we're essentially going to like try to like recreate this scene as like a little bit of a panel, and yeah, just like use it as an excuse to kind of get warmed up when it comes to doing something more in the line of comic books and stuff. So yeah, I've got my A4 over here. I'm gonna be working first and small scale. We're gonna thumbnail first, and then we're just gonna lay it out. I don't know how much time I'm gonna actually have today. So no big goals of having big comic page finished, but we're just gonna stick to something a bit more achievable and go for, hey, let's make sure we can block out something and experiment with how we can use panels to showcase the flow of time and showcase the mood of the scene. So essentially this first kind of like thing I want to go for. Also, I think I'm gonna switch to something a bit more relaxing today. Um Music wise. Let's do this instead. Yeah, something like that. Very, very nice. So, yeah, so what I kind of want to go for, like, at least for this beginning part, I like the idea of building up tension from like calm to absolute chaos. We're dealing with something like the ocean. Essentially, the scene is going to be like Terra escaping a giant monster in the ocean. So I kind of want to build up from this kind of like sense of calm to like a sense of chaos. So I'm essentially doing this exercise as if it was like a traditional comic book. Like we're working with like a page as like our main form of communication. So yeah, I think we're gonna start with kind of a big shot where we just showcase the kind of like big idea of like the landscape, the planets, the kind of like watery abyss that we find ourselves in. And probably make it like nice and bright and stuff, and create like that initial point of interest before we get to like the chaos that leads us to a second page. I think we might do a couple of pages today, but essentially if we're doing this with like a traditional comic book, the first page stands on its own. And this is an important thing, like whenever you're doing stuff with comic books, like thinking about the actual format that you're using. You think you have a similar build up to some of your own start. Ooh, nice pop. Yeah, no, like when you're working, you really need to think about the formats. In this case, the flip of the page is very important. So like in this first page, there's a flip right here, and then it leads to these next two pages essentially. So like these two are kind of like going to be next to each other, whereas like here there's a little bit of a flip. You kind of have to take that into account when you're like designing something like a comic book, because like flipping the page reveals something, so it gives you an opportunity for like a shock, for a revelation, for like a change of scenery. Like it very much like is something that you can play with, so it's kind of good to take it into account. But yeah, we're gonna I don't know if we're gonna do three. Let's have it here just for the sake of it, just in case. But I think we're gonna stick to just the maybe one or two pages today. I don't know. Depends on how nasty we want to go or how clear we want to make this. I haven't thought about what's when I try to make a comic. Yes, no, that's a very good resource that we have as like when you're a comic book artist, you have a couple of tools. Essentially, you can control the flow of the eye through a page. You can control time by controlling the amount of panels, the amount of text. There's certain things, and you can control the framing of each one of those panels. But also, the fact that like some like comic book formats are physical, it means that you also have a flip of a page or a double page to like take into account. Like for example, if you want like a big revelation to happen, if you do it here on the after the flip of the page, it's a lot more shocking. If you want like maybe there's like a little bit of mystery, someone's like about to open the door of doom, then they flip the page and suddenly the monster's coming out and it's like wow, big scary moment. Having that after the flip of the page creates that build up and that tension that lets you see what's going on. Whereas like when we have like this layout, because like you only do get like the one page really at the beginning, because like we tend to leave this one as the courtesy page, but like when you're working with something like this, if you do put that reveal over here of the big monster, it's not going to feel as revealing, because as you start reading through here, your eye is already noticing that and the periphery of your view. So like it's not going to be as shocking. This is a lamer kind of monster. So yeah, like things like that. And again, like the whole monster thing, very dumb example, but it is a thing. It is a type of resource that we have when we're doing this kind of thing, of doing like a physical flipping of the pages kind of comic book. I haven't really ever done a webcomic, so I really have absolutely zero idea how the actual format of like, that infinite scrolling format that you get from like webtoons or something like that works. And most everything that I've read when it comes to comic books, I've read physically because I kind of like physical comic books a lot. So I wouldn't know how you would go about using those to your advantage, but I know how to use the physical ones, so that's something. I was going to ask about where common equivalents. Yeah, I was actually looking. So I was looking at like a couple of things before we got started to kind of refresh my brain on comic books and stuff. And there was this one creator that was doing like a comparison between web comics and traditional comics. And I didn't really have time to watch like, because it was like a 45-minute long video or something like that. I didn't really have time to go through it. So like, but it does seem that like you have a way narrower kind of like space, and it goes from up and down constantly. So a lot of the play seems to be with like where you put these frames and like very limited kind of like moments like this, maybe having someone and like the text outside of the thing as like they talk to each other and stuff like that. So like it does seem like a lot more like limited when it comes to like the opportunities of things to do, because again you don't have that page flip, you just have like this kind of like downward scroll. But yeah, it is like a different kind of thing, but yeah. I love how I'm doing like a mini comic tutorial in here, but yeah, no, there are three things that you control when you're making panelings through your panels, and that's eye flow, time, and framing. So those are kind of like the things that we want to control here. So when it comes to time, the bigger the panel, the more amount of detail there is, or the more amount of text there is, the slower your eye is going to go through it. The bigger the smaller the people inside that panel with the framing, the wider the slower it's going to feel as well. And also you can control time as well with like literal like amount of words that you can put on a thing. Like if you like put thousands of words on a panel, you're gonna force your like reader to stop and read fucking everything you wrote. um yeah, it's like a few little tools that we have at our disposal, but the few that you have, like if you know how to use them properly, you're able to kind of like really well command the kind of like control of over the reader of what's going on. So here I want to make kind of like a very calm flat sea, because it like we're seeing it from like very far away. but I do want to create like a couple of clouds here pointing us towards the thing that I want us to look at, which is going to be this kind of like almost splash of water that's running through it, this speck of dust kind of thing. This is going to be like my starting thing. I want to make it towards the left and not just the center because I want to be able to like guide your eye through the page, which is like eye flow is a very important thing when it comes to comic books, and it's a thing that like you need to like learn about. It does vary from like one civilization to another. Western folks tend to read left to right and up to down, whereas like I know in places like Japan from reading a couple of like manga and stuff, like you go the other way around, which does feel a bit confusing when you're getting used to it as a reader, but it's something that you 100% need to take into account when you're designing like your book, essentially, like the way that your audience is going to read it. Like even with something like a webtoon, if you're, for example, like let's say you have a panel here, again, let's do the two people talking, two people over here they meet, or like further away, let's start with like establishing shot. Yeah, if you're writing for an like Eastern audience, you might want to go, like if you're doing half panels over here, you might want to go with something like this. So like you go from left to right, even if it's like just for a very very small kind of thing. Knowing the direction helps a lot. With like framing and visual metaphor as well. So like if we want to make our character feel trapped in the West, we draw them looking this way on this end. That feels trapped because we read like that. And by the West, I mean like general Western countries and those that are victims to Western colonization. But like it's a generalization. But yeah, if you read left to right, this is kind of like how you make your character feel trapped. This is how you make them feel small. So like yeah, but if you're reading in the East, it'd be kind of like the opposite. Like if you want a character to look trapped, you draw them like that, and if you want them to feel very small in the frame and overwhelmed and like they have a lot ahead of them, you do it like that. So like even when it comes to the framing, you do kind of have to take these things into account. So yeah, the left to right, right to left thing, definitely an important thing. In this case, I'm going with left to right because that's the one I know. So yeah, I definitely want to like create like yeah, like a sense of like we're starting here and we're gonna end here by the end of the panel. Like there's not gonna be a lot of zigzag in this first one because it's just gonna be like a little bit of a chaotic introduction. But yeah, so this is where our protagonist is gonna be. There's gonna be very little detail here at the beginning. Just because you know I'm starting with like the here we go. I'm starting with like very like rough kind of like layout of what we're gonna do. We'll kind of like go deeper into it later. People sometimes flip the images when translating, right? Yeah, sometimes they do that actually. Yeah, it is funny. I feel like if you can, most of the way that it's thought out because the position is so well thought through. Like flipping it does kind of does kind of work. The I've been recently reading some of One Piece manga, and yeah, it does take you a while to kind of get used to the idea of like the flipping of like reading like right to left, but it is incredibly essential. Like those comic books are specifically made for you to read from like right to left rather than left to right. But yeah, so essentially the idea I want to go from this big calm, just blocking things out, but like this is going to be like an ocean and stuff like that. There's going to be a boat, that speedboat going really fast, leaving a little bit of a trail here, and then we're going to introduce a couple of panels on top of this. So my idea is that this is going to be like almost like an entire page kind of thing where like the color's going to go all the way through the entire page without a rim, and we're going to have the floating panels on top of that. Maybe we can break it off here or something like that if we wanted to. But I think something like this might be good. Um, I want to like get closer to our situation as we go along, and then have like this moment where like the action is almost like breaking out of the panel to kind of like showcase the kind of like urgency of the moment. So the idea, I think, like right now I want to build up the idea of like there's this calm thing, like, you know, big ocean, little boat, big beast is about to like come out of the water and try to like hunt our protagonist, essentially, because they're chasing them because they stole their eggs. Because they're a bounty hunter and the eggs go for money, so they just came down and stole some poor ocean creature's eggs. So that's essentially what like we're going to be like portraying here. So like again, we have like this kind of like idea of like the foam, the like this is going to be like white foamy stuff, like trail of like our speedboat slash speed spaceship thing going through the water. And that's going to like be our introduction to something happening. I think another interesting thing that we can add here as well is like the typical like thing to make us know that we're in a different planet, like instead of having like the sun or something like that, maybe seeing like a giant kind of like moon or like gas giant in the sky, because maybe we're like in a moon of a gas giant or something like that. So like the subtle like kind of like it's probably going to be more subtle than this like drawing is up to be, but something to kind of like imply this idea of like, yeah, this is not Earth, we're in like an alien planet. These kind of things might be a bit silly and a bit like obvious and stuff, but in a story like this where I'm not gonna like I just like it's not a super grounded story. I want to be able to like visually communicate to the audience what the hell is going on very clearly without using words. So just by doing that, we're kind of like letting the audience know, yeah, we're not on Earth. Like this is not Earth. Even if the water is blue. um this is not Earth, you know? So that's kind of the vibe that I wanna set through. Now, when it comes to the layout of the panels, I want to create this kind of like urgency as we go down, like I was saying. But I had an example for myself over here. Okay. So yeah, so I what I wanted to do is kind of like introduce the idea of like something chasing her, very slowly. So like we're going to zoom in here to like this secondary panel over here. That's going to be a bit more to the left. It's essentially just going to work as like a little bit of a zoom to kind of like showcase like the ship, which I have some reference for because I have not designed this. It helps when you design things before you do this kind of stuff, but it's rough, so it's just I want it to look kind of crappy, so that's fine. Like yes, some sort of like hover ship thing. Um, it's a boat, but it's also a spaceship kind of vibes. I don't know, something like this. Like essentially introducing our character at this moment. So we get to like understand what this is essentially. We go from this bit, which is like the only bit of interest there's going to be here, to like seeing the ship a little bit bigger. And then we're going to like almost break with the panel here. But let me do this in another layer. I'll almost break with the panel here to like introduce our character and have her like here at the very back, just turning around to look behind her. As like she's holding on to like the ship's wheel kind of thing. And we see the water splashing kind of stuff. So yeah, it's gonna be like this bit of this like moment where like it almost like I want to add more urgency to it. So like maybe like tilting it a little bit to add like something like this. There's gonna be like a lot of big perspective moments over here, and it's gonna introduce the thing that's at the back that are gonna be like these egg things that they're carrying around. Again, I'm taking big inspiration from this random drawing I never finished of like them stealing some eggs while fighting a ocean monster that looks way too much like a penis. Um, but yeah, so like this is kind of the idea. In this case, she's gonna be alone. Because I like the idea of like a last minute spaceship rescue from her wife. But yeah, so like this is kind of going to be like the vibe. Um, Do. So yeah, so like this kind of like big urgency moment where like, front of the ship, we're creating a little bit more perspective. We're going from something like really like perspective is another thing that you can use to tell stories. Like we're going from something very flat with this like very sideways kind of like thing over here, like very flat, very sideways. And then we're like getting more and more into the perspective of like the subject where as we get closer to it, suddenly like it becomes a lot more three-dimensional. There's a lot more depth to it. There's a lot more stuff going on. So essentially like this is kind of like the kind of like thing that's going on. Like I want her to be like kind of worried. A little bit of an expression there, and again she's like grabbing onto the wheel over here of the boat as like it speeds away. And we are gonna draw some like splashes of like water coming down, like a little bit of foam, and like a big splash behind her of like the foam that the ship is like letting through. But yeah, it essentially like it's this very simple kind of like initial panel that just creates this like sort of idea of like, hey, we're starting off this very like subtle planet. We see the ship a little bit more, and then we come here. What I think I'm gonna do is I'm not loving this one. I think I'm going to change around what I do with this one because I don't think I'm introducing enough interesting information with this one. So let's do like a bit here. Um, so I think I've realized as well, like with comic books and stuff, best thing you can do if you're getting into comic books and you want to create good comic books and like make interesting compositions and things like that in your comic books, is look at other comic books that already exist. Big, big thing to do. Very good. Very good thing to do. So the amount of like time that passes in a scene can also be defined with how slowly or fast we jump from one action to another. So if I wanted something to feel like slow motion, I'm gonna detail that movement or that action or that thing a lot in a lot of detail. Whereas like if I want to make something feel like a lot faster and a lot more action heavy, then I'm going to jump from like one point in time that's further away to another point in time that's further away. Like if you want to build suspense from someone opening a door, you start with someone like looking at the door in one panel. Like let's actually do this. Let's build some suspense. Let's stop everything to build a little bit of suspense. So like if you want to build suspense, it's someone like opening a door. You might start with like someone like looking at the door intensely, then like seeing the like actual door over here. This is what a door looks like, right? Yeah. Seeing the door, then their hand going to like grab the handle of the door. There we go. Something like that. But anyway, unfortunately, I can't stay any longer because I'm currently learning how to use Utao and make voice bank. Ooh, amazing. Okay, no worries, Popka. Thank you for showing up. Have a nice one. Ooh, thank you, TF. Oi, okay. So like if you want to like really build up tension, make something feel like a lot slower, you would like define that action as much as humanly possible, like in this case making a door opening feel like an eternity, because like the characters like very slowly opening the door and then we get to see what's behind it kind of thing. Like this is like if you really want to like build a lot of tension with someone opening a door, you're going to like detail things out as much as possible and give it like a lot of actual panels for the one action. Have a great stream. Hope this one goes well. Thank you, Bob. You play with time by controlling time. It would take to read through the panels. Yes, exactly, Brie. Like that's how like you go about things. Whereas like if I want to have like something very actiony, like let's say a sword fight, I might have like the person just like swing the sword up in like one panel, then another panel of the other guy swinging the sword up like this, and then like a panel of someone clashing them. Like that's a complex action in three panels. Let's say we have like these these panel things that sometimes you get. That's like in 3 panels you have like the build up of like someone running up to someone, someone running up to someone, everything clashes, boom, 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 big sword fight. You see this a lot in like Western superhero comics, where like they would break down an entire like action scene in like 5 panels, where like I don't know, Spider-Man's fighting someone and he like comes in and like dodges a like a strike in the same, like all in the same panel. The like I don't know, the Rhino hits himself in the head while Spider-Man jumps over him, all in that same exact panel, just so like you could have on the next panel, like I don't know, the Rhino looking very mad back at him, like, oh, I'm gonna get you. Um, to then have like another panel where like I don't know, Spider-Man like does a thing. What does Spider-Man do? I'm just coming up with freaking comic book panels as we talk. Where like he webs him and then like jumps over, and like you even have sometimes several of the same character throughout like one shot. This is Spider-Man webbing the back of Rhino's head, in case you were wondering. So yeah, like you would sometimes have stuff like this where like you would like have like several like the character several times in one shot to kind of like define the motion as well. But like in just 3 panels, there's so much shit just happened. Whereas like if you want to go tense and slow, you would do something more like that. So it really is like a case of like your it's up to you to like decide how you want to define this and how you want to make this go. Um, but like yeah, for example here all I want to do is kind of like establish that she's like running with the thing, catching the edge, and like a little bit of anxiety looking back at like what might be happening, but just like build a little bit of tension. I think the best thing I could do here, instead of like clarifying what the ship looks like, because that's not really fucking important, what I could do here is like maybe have like a little cutaway, with like a little bit of text. Maybe she's like calling her wife, being like, oh yeah, coming in, stuff is going good so far, kind of thing. A fun thing about comic books that you don't get to do too much in like storyboarding or like animation is like really flip a lot of like the angles that you're looking at things through for no fucking reason at all. It's great, and I really do enjoy it a lot when like looking at comic books, because it is kind of um it's kind of bad practice in storyboarding, to like just have very shocking changes of angles and things like that. Ooh, welcome Todo, how you doing? Comic making, yes, 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 that's what we're doing. So like it is kind of bad practice to have characters change their poses very wildly between one shot and another, or like change angles randomly from one shot and another, kind of stuff. Whereas with comics you get to do a lot more of that, because they're not flashing on the same space. It does, like, it's up to the reader to take the time to actually like read through things a lot better. So like it is a lot more possible to do things that if done in a different medium like animation would be confusing, but within like comic books you kind of like get to do that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking maybe of having like a shot of like the boat from behind, like over here, like going away kind of thing, and then just like with a trail, like again showing like the horizon, like blue all around, and then like a little bit of like dialogue bubble, again like carrying from here to here, like a bubble of dialogue. You also do want to block out your dialogue. Dialogue is not something you add later. You kind of want to be thinking about it as you go. In this case, I don't have a script. I did not write a script for myself. I just have a vague idea. It's good to have a script. Have a script, especially if it's a more complicated story that you're trying to tell. Have script good. So like, yeah, like having a sentence here where like she's like saying something like, "Oh, I'm on my way," or something of that sort. Um, Establishing that like she's heading somewhere. We could even establish where she's heading, or even make this panel a lot longer over here to kind of like showcase how nothingness there is all around. How like she's in the middle of like just the most empty ocean there is. Yeah, something like that to kind of like showcase that. I don't know. Maybe there's like I could add a little something like this shape to make it look more like a ship sail. Like even if it's like a piece of metal, that could be cool. I haven't designed the ship. Again, you would do these things before you start doing this kind of stuff, but it's also kind of okay to do them at the same time. It's fine. It's not efficient, but it's fine, you know. Hey, love the little V. Oh, thank you, Galactic. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wait, Galactic. I can't read. God damn it. Hello, I'm doing good. How about you? I just saw the title and got interested. Oh, well, welcome. I'm just doing a little bit of a comic thing. I'm not normally a comic artist and stuff, but I just had kind of like the vibe to do some comics. I've done a couple in the past. I've studied them more than I've actually done them, so I thought it'd be a fun thing to like bring some of the characters that we have. Let me show you guys for everyone new. Also, hi, I'm Gonzalo. Welcome. This is our character Tara, and that's her wife Lila. And we're kind of like drawing a little bit of a scene based on the terrible unfinished painting I did a couple of years back. Um, so yeah, it's the idea of like them escaping water monster in water planet kind of thing. So yeah, we're just like telling a bit of her story as she's like driving around this ramshackled boat about to be rescued last minute by her wife from a thing, a monster thing. So yeah, and while I'm doing it, using it as an excuse to kind of like tell you guys a little bit about what I know about making comics and drawing comics and why we do certain things and why we make certain decisions. So yeah, that's pretty much the plan today. Okay, so also, those who don't know, hi, Gonzalo. I'm a professional artist. I've worked in animation, in concept art, in both video games and movies and stuff. And I just come here and do stuff on stream because it's fun. There's usually topics or themes or like a goal for each one of these streams. But yeah, I don't have Vin here with me. She's usually my moderator, but we do have a Discord, so feel free to join it if you want to stay up to date with what we're doing and stuff like that. So yeah, an armchair comic artist, exactly, Brie. Oh, your character design is awesome. Thank you very much, Galactic. Um, Also, layout looks familiar. Are you using Autodesk Sketchbook or by any chance? Yes, I am. This is Sketchbook. It's a terrible program when it comes to versatility, but I love it so much because it's really easy to choose, and I've been using it for years, so it's kind of hard for me to change and use a different one. Yo, okay, amazing. Let me act. Do I have the? Wait, no, I don't have a blur prepared. I should have prepared this. I'm the worst Twitch streamer. Okay, let me just give you guys a temporary link while we're here. There we go. Okay. Uh, I'm just gonna. Oh, thank you, Bree. We got it. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Bree. Oh man. Anyways, yeah. Welcome everyone. So yeah. So like essentially, like the idea of like the small ship being over here I think works quite well. I'm gonna move it up a little bit, and I can center it a little bit more now that I know what like the actual like flow of things is gonna be. Like you could go from the ship here to the ship over there, with like that little bit of thing. Oh, nice, new follower. I got a random weird guy. Don't ask. Okay, so like something like this, and then like showing the foam over there. Essentially like just to like guide your eye and create like that little bit of like, yeah, the ship is like gliding over the ocean, not actually touching it kind of thing. But yeah, so this would be like this moment where like she's looking back, and like we could come here and like fix it up later and stuff, but I think it's important when, especially when you're doing something that when you're like focusing on the layout and the flow of things, we don't get too like caught up in the actual like details of like what's happening. Because if like we get too caught up on like drawing the details, then we kind of like lose the focus on the actual like layout, which is what we're going for. So I like the idea of like this kind of like flow for the first page. Like I was saying before, the turn of the page allows us the chance to do something like surprising and shocking over here, which we're of course going to do. There's going to be the big monster's going to appear right in like the next panel, so hell yeah. I'm also trying to get into the industry as an artist. That's the goal. So your channel is perfect. I want to learn. Amazing, Toto. That's so amazing. Galactic, I know this is a bit random, but what's your canvas size? I think it's literally like an A2, I think, right now. Let me actually show you because canvas size. There you go. There you go. That's it in pixels. But I think it's I just a long time ago Googled what an A4 was, and I tend to work really big with canvases because I like having like very high definition whenever I'm like exporting something. I'd rather like shrink it down than like, put it up and then realize that the definition kind of sucks. So it's quite big. I think it's like an A2 or an A1. Um for my American friends out there, that's a like weird paper measurement thing that we use in Europe. So I don't know what that would the equivalent would be on, but it's a large sheet of paper essentially, a pretty large sheet of paper. There you go. Just in case you wanted to take a look at them. And yeah, like this would be like the like these are exactly the same proportions as the big one, but what I'm doing is thumbnailing a little bit smaller first, and then we'll probably blow it up if we do a follow-up stream where we can clean this stuff up and things like that. So I realize the music is a bit too low, isn't it? You might have not been able to hear the music. Yeah, it was a bit too low. Sorry about that. A2, oh my god, my Autodesk is an A4. I thought Autodesk couldn't keep up. Mine can, but it is a very beefy computer, and we do get technical issues every once in a while anyways. So one thing you do need to learn about streams, my stream specifically, Galactic, is that there's always technical issues. I'm really happy that the Wi-Fi isn't an issue today because we had a couple of really bad issues with it in the past that were kind of annoying. So I'm glad that that's no longer like a thing. But yeah, no, it's we always have technical issues. No matter what's going on, there's technical issues are gonna abound. But yeah, okay, so essentially I'm making the script as I go. Don't do that. Actually give yourself a script. It's good, it's nice. Don't do what I do. Do as I say, not as I do, kind of vibe. Yeah, so like again, the idea is to build up tension. We're zooming into her. We're going from something really calm, very horizontal, to like a Dutch angle where like we're introducing a lot more movement. And essentially the idea is to kind of like bring us into her like moment of tension. We introduce with just with the visuals, we're showing it we're in a different planet. We're showing that there's a vast nothingness of ocean in front, behind her, and all around her. And we're introducing the fact that she's nervous by zooming in. So like the key I think to a really good comic book is one like in general anything illustrative is visual communication. If you can look at a comic book page without knowing what the heck the words say and understand what's going on, then you did a good job. Yeah, focus on that visual communication. Don't let your dialogue and your words be a crutch for your comic books. At least that's the way I like those are the comic books I like to read, because I mean that is very much a preference. I'm saying it as if it's a law. It's not. I just like visual communication over any other type of communication. I think it's the kind of like crux to the artistry of like, drawing of visual art. But I'm not trying to demean the written word. I'm just not a writer, so I got my preferences. Why did I redraw this again? I was drawing through and deleting it. That was kind of the idea. See, I get lost in my words and talking, and then I forget what the heck I'm even doing. Okay, so yeah, so like there's this idea of like this endless ocean ahead of her, and then we use this to kind of like frame her worry. So I had the idea of like text wise, maybe her saying something like coming in with a cargo or something like that, and then like introducing the question through like dialogue that's gonna flip us to the other page of like, did it follow you, or like, are you clear, like something to like reinforce this anxiety that our character is feeling right now. I use Clip Studio Paint mostly. Ooh, nice. I need to try Clip Studio Paint. I downloaded a demo and then I never tried it, but it seems very good. I honestly like, I like using Sketchbook. I don't recommend using Sketchbook. It's not a bad program. It's just there's way better programs that also don't cost money. Um, in my case, it's also because like by when I got this, it was like it was back when like it was free. So I kind of have like a lifetime free thing going on. Yeah, because that's how long I've been using Sketchbook for. But yeah. I'm gonna do these in gray actually. So essentially we're gonna have like this word bubble introducing this kind of like first idea of like, do you have the eggs or something like that. Again, just kind of reinforcing a bit of what we're already seeing, but like making us focus and introducing the idea that like she's talking to someone. Like there's someone else. We can't see them right now because they're on comms. But yeah. And then we could do like there's this really good Mercurial is also amazing for free software. Yeah, 100% total. A pirate CSP. Yeah, well, yeah. Pirating is the friend of the amateur artist. If you're starting off, yeah. So I've been trying to transition to Krita, but I've been using Sketchbook since 2021, and it's hard to unlearn since it was the first time doing digital. Yeah, yeah. My main thing is like things like this, the being able to control the brush size and like things like here, like whenever I draw on Krita, which I have done for some classes and stuff, it it does become annoying sometimes to change the thing, and I'm teaching a class and I'm like, oh, okay, let's get the right size. It's just, I don't know, there's something about the sensitivity, like things you don't really pay attention to. Like there's nothing wrong with the software, but there's things you didn't realize you've gotten used to with the software that you actually have right now, you know. Okay, so I need to do some writing now. You love the Zoom Move palette. Yeah, yeah. Like this is great. It's awful for Sketchbook for example is awful for time lapses, because also this is like popping in and out of existence constantly, creating just like visual noise. But I love actually using it. I like I've been using Procreate on my like iPad for a bit, because I got an iPad for a birthday and I've been using it for a bit, but because Apple products suck, the screen shattered just by like random circumstance. Like I think there was like a little grain of something on it when I closed like a little like protector that I have around it, and the screen shattered, and I've been trying to get it fixed ever since. It's been a pain in the butt. I've gone through three different screens now because none of them like work with the sensitivity, and oh, it's yeah, yeah. So Procreate is nice for time lapses, but iPad bad. So, anyways, okay, dialogue. What dialogue? Let's write some dialogue. So the ideas that we want to communicate here, like, did it follow you? Like, I think something like this. Did it follow you? I'm not I'm not very good at the writing thing. I will write this better later again. This is just a thing. My handwriting is not very nice. This is just for now. Did it follow you? Got him. Or like something like that. Like here, she's the one talking in this one. So we will have like we will do like I've been watching a lot of videos for this guy who's very good at like comic book lettering, this comic book artist. I forgot what the name of the channel is. I think it's Inked Studios. They have a lot of like shorts as well as like full videos, but like a lot of really good shorts on lettering and stuff. It turns out shorts, like YouTube shorts, can be a very good format. Isn't just for spam. Most of it is like slop, but you can have actually like really interesting good videos formatted in there. Um, but yeah, no, like I think he has like really good like comic book lettering things where like he explains the process of why he does certain things and stuff of that sort. It's very cool. It's very good. I really like it. So like yeah, for this one we will do something that makes the text actually look like it's like, distorted coming from a radio kind of vibe. essentially. So like, I don't know, something like it's gotta be like maybe it's a different color. I don't know. But yeah, this is her wife talking to her on the radio, and this is her saying something. So she's gonna say something. I don't know what yet. I don't want to write right now, guys. So yeah, and that's essentially gonna introduce us to the following panel, which is the one where we're gonna get the big monsters. So let's get on to that one. Essentially here, I think what I want to do is like create this kind of like sense of suddenly like the monster appears clearly from like below her or something. Like we could even like subtly foreshadow it here by like adding like a sort of shadow under the water or something like that. But yeah, essentially like we're going to like splash her with a giant monster. That's kind of the idea here, because again we're kind of following the whole idea of, yeah, we're reading left to right. So like if we want to interrupt forward momentum, like when you move from left to right in a story, it feels like the characters are moving forward. We want to interrupt that forward momentum. So if we have this momentum from left to right, we're going to have the monster not just appear here behind her, but like kind of like jump almost in front of her kind of thing. So big showcase panel. We're gonna have like mouth of the monster over here. Monster isn't designed yet. We're not going with the old design because it honestly generally looks like a giant penis. So we're not doing giant penis monster. Wait. Oh, my PRF went weird. Okay. We'll need to open it again. PRF. Yeah, it's really bad. It's not good. The design looked better. It's like you're crushing my dreams here, Gonzalo. I'm sorry, Brie. No giant penis. I'm so sorry. No, it's not good, guys. It's not good. Like it's not good. Um, I do want to keep it warmy and snaky, but I don't think I'm gonna do this. I think I'm gonna go something like I was looking at some references of like how people have done like ocean beast and stuff, and I was seeing this kind of like idea of like finger hand slug kind of like thing, like more like a lamprey kind of thing. And I think I'm gonna go in that direction. Maybe I like a little bit of scaly and stuff. This is a bunch of like references from Pinterest and stuff also. These are genius. This is some of the best creature designs I've ever seen. I love how fucking dumb they look. But yeah, I think we're going lamprey kind of vibes. It also, if we don't add eyes, you don't connect to it as much. And for the sake of this story, they are stealing its babies. So it's better if we don't connect with them. But yeah, you might ask, why are heroes of the story stealing eggs from mothers? It's yeah, it's about it's, yeah. There's definitely something deep there. I don't know. Haven't figured it out yet. Again, there's no planning here, guys. Uh, no plan, just vibes, just hopping on in with some vibes. Okay, so essentially, oh, I've been drawing this on this layer, haven't I? Okay. Essentially, that's kind of like the plan when it comes to the actual like way of structuring this. I think what we're gonna do is have this panel of like the mouth suddenly like jumping up. We'll have to like define a bit more what like the actual structure of the ship looks like, but for now it's gonna be a rectangle, and our rectangle is gonna be flipped up by the fact that like the monster is suddenly emerging in front of her. So we're gonna have big splash moment. This rectangle is gonna be a lot smaller because we want to make the fucking thing look gigantic. Um, there we go, something like this. So we do want to make this fucking thing look like absolutely gigantic. So like she's gonna just be here, like, oh fuck, eggs over here and like their thingy and like, whatever. That's like kind of the chip. So yeah, so like we're gonna have like big splash over here of water as like the thing comes out right in front of the ship. We might even want to like, yeah, even like make it more overwhelming. We do want to stick to this side of it, and we do want to like interrupt the kind of like thing of the ship over here is like it's just like coming up. Um, because it's not a boat and it's like kind of like a ship and it's kind of floating. It is gonna like kind of like create this kind of sensation of a wave. I do have some references for waves. And where did I have this? Oh yeah, over here. Cool. So I like the idea of like a wave suddenly like appearing in this like very shallow, very kind of like calm looking ocean. Um so yeah, so like she's very much fucked in this situation. And it's kind of like the thing I was introducing before, this idea of like introducing the monster after the flip of a page, like introducing that moment of like shock after like the flip of a page. I think I'm gonna put the ship a little bit more to the side like this. Um but yeah, because it is one of those things that you can do in comic books. Like it is one of the things that comic books allows you to do is control the moment where like a page gets flipped. Like that's one of the cool things that like doing physical comic books really does allow. And we can control that and use that for our advantage to, in this case, like create this like moment of tension and release by introducing that like threat that we just like had this kind of like subtle nod to right after the turn of the page. So like it's this overwhelming kind of thing. Let me look at that weird lamprey mouth reference again. Do always use reference, guys. Reference is great, especially for something like this where like you're just like going by vibes. Uh, it just looks like the worms from like what's it called? The dune. The the like big sandworms. But yeah, no, like this kind of like idea of like yeah, there's this. I think this is better. It's still very phallic, but it is phallic in a more interesting way. I'm gonna try not draw veins on it. But yeah, something like this I think could be quite fun. We can like I do like the idea of like the weird fingers to like hold on. Makes you wonder what the heck else is living here if something like a parasite can be this size. Makes you wonder what like what other stuff there might be lurking under the waves. But yeah, something like this essentially like coming out of the water and like popping out and stuff like that. Maybe that's the design we would go for. Maybe we go for a completely different vibe. But the idea is that like the monster is like doing the hunt thing, and we're gonna make her even smaller. I think this is way too big. We're gonna make her even smaller over here. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so then we can like move the monster over here like that. There we go. So like suddenly there's this moment where like the monster just like comes like completely out of the thing and then just like almost tries to get her. So what we can do here is that we can clarify that motion, that kind of like animation that we're wanting to go for here of this monster coming out with like a secondary panel here at the bottom. um I'm doing a lot of bottom panels. But yeah, we're gonna add like a little panel here at the bottom where like we're gonna clarify this kind of like moment with like the maybe like having the like from a further away point having like the thing like splash back down after her, like after this kind of like moment to maybe like showcase that she's cleared. I don't know, I feel like that takes away from the drama. No, we're gonna clarify her reaction. That's better for this moment. We can like do the follow up later. Right now, let's do a little bit more of a slow-mo moment where we get to see her reaction to the thing that just happened, which is this, and like her oh fuck face. That's a technical industry term in case you were wondering. Something like this, I think. Like, oh no, oh shit. So yeah, something like this, where like we again like remind ourselves of where she's at and stuff, and like we could even like cast a shadow over her and stuff like that. So yeah, something of this sort. I think it's a little more interesting. So yeah, I do approve of the bosom panels. Nice. Thank you, Brie. Uh, I don't know in what way you mean that, but I appreciate it. There might be ulterior motives. Okay, so something like this I think works quite well. Um, maybe a more, actually, yeah. Let's elongate this panel a bit more. Actually, um, I think something like that. And then let's fix it up. So as you can see, it's a lot of back and forth. Like this is why when you're doing thumbnails, you want to draw very rough because you just want to kind of like move things around and test things and make sure things work and stuff. Like it's not a case of like, oh, you got it, like first time's a charm kind of thing. Like you want to experiment, you want to allow yourself to experiment. Again, this is the reason like we're drawing like this. We're not here to like do the final thing from the get-go. We're experimenting, we're going back and forth, we're erasing, we're changing things around. Like it's about creating a sense of like motion and time and stuff, and like we need to focus on that first and then everything else later. So like yeah, moment of dread over here kind of thing. Yeah, so I think this is a pretty good, it's a pretty good moment to showcase that kind of stuff. Again, I need to design the ship to look a little better. Kind of sucks at the moment, but yeah. So giant thing comes out of the ocean right in front of her. It's gonna create like this like barrier that she has to like get through. And again, because this is like a double page, we get a lot more space to actually like clarify what's going on here. So I think the next one to do is the like things mashing down trying to catch the ship. We're gonna accelerate now because we're getting into kind of like an action scene. So the next thing I want to do is like create like a panel where essentially like we see the thing try to bite down on her and like her dodging it, managing to dodge her way out of it. So like we're gonna use the like foam coming out of the ship as like a way to create the, oh, where the person has been kind of like tail line, like motion line kind of thing. So yeah, like we're getting her back on track a little bit, but we're doing a little bit of dodging. So I think we're gonna try and like create a little bit of the sense of like going here and then going back out as like just the vibe of the panel to kind of like switch around where like how we're like looking at things, instead of just like the flow that this one has or like the shock that this one does. um we're going to like create a way of reading it that's a bit more like this. What I think I'm gonna do is like this kind of like moments we're gonna kind of like follow the ship back down into here. So like almost kind of like break down the action into like little moments. So like this is the moment where like the thing's gonna try to back down. We're gonna introduce her like here, like trying to focus and being like, no, I can do this, kind of like moment. I'm saying kind of like moment so much on this stream, but you guys get what I mean. So yeah, I'm gonna start with the panel again to contrast this one that we just had of like her trying to dodge and being like, okay, I'm gonna get out of the way of this giant sea creature that wants to eat me, rightfully because I stole her eggs. Um, so we're gonna have the kind of like creature moving around as like part of the background, and then over here like the ship again is like moving this way. Okay, so it's kind of a complicated thing. I'm literally just going off of like what's in my head of what I kind of want this kind of thing to look like. So like this is this is like me going off of vibes. This is how like this is why you do thumbnails, because like sometimes you gotta like vibe it out and try to like figure out what you're doing while you're doing it, and then you like actually blow this up to like an entire page and you're like, this sucks, let me redo it again. So yeah, Okay. Yeah, so we have like the thing smashing back down, trying to catch her. And this is a moment of like we're gonna have a moment of her like turning the ship to kind of like dodge the thing. So a thing I do recommend when you're doing comic books is like when you're drawing like smaller panels like this, draw everything outside of the panel and then erase the parts that don't fit the panel, because otherwise your proportions are gonna kind of like suck. So yeah, so like her like turning, like looking at the thing and being like, no, I'm gonna dodge you, and then like turning the ship around this way, like this. This is again a thumbnail, so like once we are actually doing it, like I would like come in and fix the anatomy and make sure everything's like good and stuff like that. But like again, thumbnails be thumbnails. So yeah, so like this moment of like that going on. Also, we should definitely add some like eggs falling in the water over here in this scene. That feels that feels cool. But yeah, so like this is her making that decision to be like, okay, let's turn. So maybe actually we might move this a bit. No, no, that's fine. I think that's fine. Then we can create this kind of like big turn over here as like the creature smashes down. We have this like here in the background, so we see the smashing, the water coming up and stuff like that. We see the like the thing as like the ship turns this way with like all the eggs and stuff, and then we can have like a little like panel over here where like we're essentially like having the same, like it's this same kind of like action, but we're kind of like breaking it into moments. So we could even, if we wanted to like really break down the movement, we could really even like have like the ship several times doing like things over here and like break each one of them into their own panel within the kind of like larger kind of thing. But I think I like this kind of like big smash turn of like the ship just going this way and then another turn going this other direction, as like we have the like fish trying to get her again essentially. So something like this, I think. And again, I need to then look at this as like once I'm like done figuring this out, look at this as a whole and be like, does this actually like seem too repetitive? Does it seem like we have the same thing happening over and over again? Does this work or does it not work? Kind of vibe. So yeah. So like this is her again. And like this panel, no words. It's just like the like this entire page is just the idea of like her dodging this creature. Like this is hard. This is not an easy thing for her to do, and she's just like dodging around as like this creature tries to come up behind her essentially. So like we can put the creature behind her as like a thing. So yeah, let's change the perspective actually and create something, because this is very much from above. Let's create something with like a way lower horizon so we can like get more action in here. So the ship's gonna be coming in here kind of like that, speeding through and like turning again, turning again, as like we see the like the creature coming back up, uh with like maybe it's like finger things that it's got back up like behind her. So creature coming back up, creature needs to be bigger with like the water droplets, and her turning around again this way to kind of try and avoid it. So yeah, something like that I think works quite well. And again, once we get to actually doing the thing, it might be like, oh, I've been drawing too big because I'm doing a thumbnail, so I might be able to actually get into the panels a bit more. I think to contrast this kind of thing. Ooh, AI viewer streambo.com. Ugh, spam. Gosh darn it. Um, do, 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 do. Ban. There we go. Awesome. Sorry, guys. Stupid spam. Okay, 1 second. Gonna blow my nose. And we're back. It's been kind of crazy weather-wise here in the UK. Um, so yesterday it started raining at like 8 degrees, and then halfway through the day suddenly the sun came out and it went up to like 18, and I was just like wearing a short sleeve t-shirt and jacket for like the midday afternoon. Like I went out twice and kind of like did the same route twice, once in the morning and one later in the afternoon, to like go pick up my partner from work, and it generally felt like it was 2 different days. Like it was absolute insanity. And then today it started off really warm in the morning, and 5 minutes ago it was fucking hailing outside the window. Like I'm not kidding you. Like just the most insane British weather I've ever seen. If you plan to get any stream bots set up, Seribot will rid you of all of those. Ooh, interesting. Thank you, Galactic. I'm gonna, I'm gonna write that down. Let me just Seribot. Thank you very much. Even though I've been streaming on Twitch for like over a month at this point, probably two, maybe it's the third month we've been doing this. I can't keep track. I still am very much a noob, so I do appreciate any and all advice that you have. TF gets that feeling, yeah. British weather should be studied. It really should. It is insane. Absolutely insane. Sari underscore bot. Sari underscore bot. Just typing it out so I can look it up later. Thank you very much. But yeah, no. Absolute insanity of a couple of days. Yeah. Very glad that I can be back set up and streaming and stuff. Very happy at it. Also have a couple of commissions I got on Vegan right before I left. So I do have like a bunch of work to do this week, which I'm very excited about. Apart from the streams, of course, and yeah, and trying to set up the classes and all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, so yeah, there's this kind of like arch thing where like this is starting to look worse and worse. Maybe I need to just redesign this creature so it looks a bit more streamlined, and I can actually like draw a tail here to kind of signify that it's like going back down into the water. I don't know, but yeah. Okay, so again, I really need to design this creature. But yeah, something like that. I think then it gives us this space very well to kind of like, before it roars back up, to kind of like do another panel to mirror this one, where like she's essentially stirring the other way now. So she was going this way, and now she's going this way. And she's looking back at the creature as like she's moving forward to kind of like introduce us to like this shot of like the creature bursting out of the water again. Now behind her. So cool. So now we've done like a bunch of zigzag to kind of like, hey, it's hard. She was trying to dodge best she could. This is not an easy thing she's doing. But now we put the creature behind us again. So like now we have this thing behind her, and we can continue on to the next two pages with the creature behind her. So yeah. Well, comics. Hey, television. Welcome. How you doing, Jesse? I'm doing comics for some reason. Any advice, I will appreciate it. For everyone who's new, this is Jesse, and she's an absolute fucking legend when it comes to comic books. An incredible artist, and she also streams. She's been streaming on YouTube on her new YouTube channel. Highly recommend. It's quite amazing. So everyone go check her out. Jesse, plug in your things on the chat. You just, I don't have any other links. I don't have been here to do the plugin for me. Yeah, weather's had crass mood changes today to not quite hail, but the sun, then gray, then sun, then gray, then rain, then sun. Yeah. We had no, I just the hail killed me. It's gone now, like, but it was like 5 minutes suddenly hail, and then thunder, and then sunny skies, and then rain again. Insanity. It's a shame. I feel like the weather's been great until the last 2 days. Yeah. No, I was really worried about the weather because I had to pack very light for this trip, and I'm staying like almost a month here, and I just, variety of clothing. Thank God I packed layers. But yeah. I love how messy comic progress process like the same. Amazing. Yeah, messiness is the best thing for comics. It's my fun moment. I like testing things and trying things. It's only May. Can't be getting a full summer weather until June, right? Yeah, true that. Oh my god. Okay. Oh fuck. There you go. There's the link. Slide those links. Yes, guys. Follow her. Honestly, incredible. Best artist. Amazing stuff. If you're actually interested in comics, don't listen to anything I'm saying. Just go watch Jessie. She actually knows what the fuck she's talking about. Yeah, no, it's it's true though. Like I am like I must have like I might like I did study this, but like Jessie makes comics like other people change their like fucking underwear. Like she's just like blowing her nose and boom, comic. Like it's insane. She even does fucking comics while she's playing D&D. I've seen them. Her D&D notes, insanity. Just a next level like like insanity of talent. So yeah, now this composition slays so hard. Thank you, Jesse. That means a lot coming from you. um Okay, so essentially, this is kind of the vibe. I still need to write the dialogue. I think a little bit of dialogue is good to like introduce our characters. We could also say some names, like she could be like, "Hey, Lila, heading back," and it's like, "Hey, Tara, did it follow you?" And then suddenly, boom, the kind of like big monster reveal. And then she like dodges to the left. We can see it like coming back down into the water. She dodges to the right, and it like bursts back out, following her. So like this essentially is setting up this kind of like idea of like, yeah, she's getting chased by a giant creature. So the ultimate goal is that the ship's gonna go to fucking hell and she's gonna get like last minute rescued by her wife. And probably out of all the eggs, she's gonna get like two or something. Because like the idea would be like this is like our introduction to them and like their story and their universe, and like the vibe is, hey, they do really hard, dangerous work for barely any reward. So yeah, that would be kind of like the idea. What program is this, by the way? This is not your usual setup. Okay, this is Sketchbook, but I've kind of like shrunk it down. So like I'm taking away a lot of like the weird stuff from the edges and stuff. Also, this is my background. Space alien thingy. This was one of Jesse's prompts actually from one of the classes we were teaching. First contact, I think it was like human being meeting aliens for the first time. In this case, the astronaut hops into an alien diner. Anyways, yeah. Oh my God, no! I've become a chatter. You are a chatter now, Jesse. Yes. I thought so. I thought I recognized the Autodesk layout. Yeah, yeah. It's like a cropped out version of, because like it has so much shit here at the top and stuff that people don't really need to look at. And whenever I do anything with layers, I just bring them up. But like otherwise, it's just ugly. So it's fine. So it's just like a more cropped out version of things essentially. But yeah. I love how Jesse's here being like exactly what I am on all of her streams, just like asking all of the questions. You did ask what program I use. Now you need to ask me what's my hardware setup, like what tablet do I use, what pen do I use, what computer do I have. Well, I do the same thing. I crop out my taskbar when I stream. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So yeah, but yeah, no, that's kind of the vibe. That was kind of the idea. I don't know. I think honestly, I don't really want to do cleanup because cleanup kind of sucks, and sketching shit out like this is way more fun. And you feel like you get way more done. So I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna continue with this like very short, very loose story with barely any fucking dialogue to it. Yeah. Speaking of Jesse, Jesse can actually write so fucking well. I am very jealous of her handwriting. You could tell that she does comic books as much as she does, because her lettering is fucking impeccable. It is so good. I hate it so much. People give hate in chat for Jessie for her amazing lettering. Thank you very much. But yeah, no. Like dialogue wise, like I think the only interesting thing is like here using this introductory panel, where again, the idea is that we're trying to like give as much information to the viewer as possible in as short a time span as possible. So, ship in the middle of fucking nowhere, lots of water, alien planets as signified by the fact that there's a gas giant floating out in the middle of the day. We get to see what's ahead of her, which is essentially nothing. We don't even know where she's supposed to be going at this point, which gives us again that sense of like isolation, overwhelming. We can introduce who she's talking to through this panel. Then we introduce her and the fact that she's nervous. She's looking back at the cargo, and then we hint at the idea of something like, oh, did it follow you? Um, hey, new follow! Yay, yay, yay! I need to ask you, have you been drawing and what made you serious about art? Yes, exactly. Exactly, Jesse. The best thing about teaching comics is there isn't really a set style you need to work in because sequential art is so experimental most of the time. So it wasn't always fun praising student for styles that they thought were too unorthodox. Yeah, no, that is one of the amazing things about something like illustration. I love how like it's not about the style or the technique or anything like that. It's about your ability to tell a story visually. Like it is a very abstract concept, which means that you could do fucking weird shit. And I love weird fucking shit. It's great. 10 out of 10. Oh, we're hitting all the classics. What are your specs? Can you draw me? Exactly, bro. Have you seen my servant? Anubis Witch 1234. Welcome, Anubis Witch 1234. I do not know who your servant is, but welcome. Yes, exactly. No, it's like I really do appreciate comic books a lot, and I've been reading a lot of indie stuff. Like I love indie comics. Not to shit on superhero comics or the Marvels or the DCs, they're great. I mean, um, the run of specifically DC's Doom Patrol done by what's his face by Chemical Romance. That run of Doom Patrol is peak, and I love it so much, and it's great, and it's technically mainstream comic books, so it's fine. But fuck if I love me some weird ass indie comics. One of my favorite things was back in Dundee where I studied in university, up in Scotland, because they had like a comic book program. Every single year, students made a comic book anthology as a project. So if you go to the secondhand stores there, you can find pretty much all of the anthologies they've made every single fucking year, and they're so weird and they're so good, and I love them so much. He's like, have you seen the new Ben 10 comics? Ooh, no, I have not. Oh, creepy. That's cool. Okay. I'm not very familiar with Ben 10. I literally just started watching a little bit of the original show because someone suggested it on stream. But just from the little bit I've watched, I was surprised at the amount of potential body horror there is in this series. So like yeah, I would not be surprised if they're weirdly creepy. Like some of those animated transformations, like it's essentially like what if Sailor Moon, but instead of like a really nice shiny transformation, you get an eldritch horror as a transformation. It's fucking creepy. Like it has a lot of potential for creepy shit. Not that Sailor Moon doesn't, to be fair. Have you already read any Vertical Scroll Korean webcomics? No, I have not, Galactic. I'm open to suggestions, by the way, of like cool, interesting comic books and stuff. Like, yeah, hell yeah. I've never read really like a lot of Vertical Scroll stuff. I need to get more into webcomics. I just really like reading comics in my hand. Like I get a pack of Twizzlers and I just lay down and read a bunch of comic books. Makes me happy. Thank you, TF. Gonna drink some water. I will not share my opinion of Vertical Scroll. Oh yes, Jesse has a controversial opinion of Vertical Scroll. Yeah, I I just like the versatility that not Vertical Scroll gives you, but I do understand that like for tablet devices or phones, like what the fuck else are you really gonna do? Like, mm, especially size is a thing. I've tried read a couple comics on my phone. I can't. Like it's not it's just not a thing. Like I will manifest good vibes. I will be not be opinionated. Ooh, do I read any manga? I just started reading some manga because I watched the season 2 of the live action One Piece with my partner recently, and we are fucking loving it. Like 10 out of 10, amazing show. And the vibes were so good. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna get like the first like 3 volumes of One Piece." So I've started reading One Piece. Holy fuck, Oda's drawings are so good. Like, goddamn, they're so cartoony. I fucking love it so much. Mm. Nah, it's fucking great. I'm loving it a lot. It feels so much like a little bit retro, not like retro to like now, like retro to even the time when it was drawn, like a little like reminding me like at moments of like the early like 1920s 1930s animation styles, like a little bit rubber hose, a little bit Astro Boy kind of feel, I don't know, there's something really nice about it. It's very iconic, very precise, very bold. I like it. I need my Yuri and my Yaoi fix, and I will not deface myself in public. You bent to vertical scrolls whales. Yeah. We're gonna be very happy that now they're like coming out with this technology on like phones where like no one can see what you're looking at from the sides. So like you could read your Yaoi and your Yuri on the bus. No one's gonna see shit. You shouldn't read my favorite manga. Um, It's the best manga of all time, and you should not read it though. Oh no, how bad is it, Jesse? How bad is it? My partner reads a lot more manga than I do. She's kind of the one who's convinced me on reading a bunch of it. Um, she really likes manga. She has like a bunch of them. She got like a couple of the Little Witch Academia ones. Those I really like the art style of those. There's so many slice of life that are basically a girl that everyone hates except one guy who's nice to them, even though they look completely normal and not completely normal. Everybody hates them for no reason, and like that's like 90% of the manga I've seen her read. So I couldn't tell you what any of them are called. I mean, that's totally fair, lol. Vertical scroll doesn't have the same composition like you've done here, but I think it works well for action scenes sometimes. Yeah, I guess the thing that does a little bit annoy me is that like there's a lot of potential with digital comics to do things that a physical media can't, and I don't know, I barely know shit about this, but Homestuck, uh from the video essays I've seen talking about it, I was not there. Well, I could have been there, but I wasn't there, and I did not read Homestuck, and I don't know what the actual fucking story's about. It seems very confusing. But the idea of like integrating the possibilities the digital media gives you with the comic book and like sequential storytelling thing seems really good. It seems really good. I don't know. I feel like I might have summoned a demon just by mentioning this series, but yeah, or a troll to be more accurate. See, I do know a little about it. Okay, have you read Go For It Nakamura? Ooh, Go For It Nakamura. I have not. Oh, you're one of us. I'm waiting for the show first. I have redrawn the meme though. Okay, interesting, interesting. See, now you guys are talking about manga in the comments, and I don't know what the fuck's happening. Oyashimi Pum Pum is absolute eye candy. Phenomenal art style, absolutely crazy storytelling, phenomenal pacing, and very deep storytelling. You should read it. Okay, let me literally copy this because I'm not gonna be able to spell it. Um, and I'm gonna be looking it up. Holy shit, that, oh yes, I know this one. I know this one. This is the one that the person draws themselves as like the little ghost thing. Yeah. The little bird thing. Normal, well adjusted, you mean? Solo leveling is a textbook how to make sense of webtoon format. There's also mercenary machinations that makes use of the format. Ooh, nice. So solo leveling and mercenary machinations make use of the actual webtoon scrolling format. Thank you, TF. If you do choose to read it, only read it when you're feeling happy. You will not end off the day happy, Lamau. That's what I've been told. My partner told me about that one because we liked going to bookstores together, and that one looked very nice. And she was like, "Yeah, it's depressing as fuck, but I've heard it's really good." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, good to know." Really wanted to get into it. Now I read it first. It'll be so much better. Don't. It's horrible. It's disgusting. Lol. uh, I don't know who Murata is. Is that a mangaka? I don't know. Definitely read Vagabond if you want to be amazed by the art. Okay, you see, this is me now. You guys are just talking to each other, and I'm copy pasting things onto Google so I can look them up after the stream. Vagabond. Vagabond is the name of actually a TTRPG system that I ran that I'm really into, by the way. It's like an indie small like TTRPG system. Very fun. Very like simple mechanics to DM because essentially you just like focus fully on the story because like the way it works it's a roll over system kind of thing. Um each character when they have their like their actual like character sheet, they essentially have like the goals and the numbers that they need to reach themselves. So like it's a bit hands off in the sense that like as a DM you just focus on like weaving the story and the world and creating the encounters and stuff, which is really like it's done in a way that's really simple because it's one of those like TTRPG systems that's like designed so like you could potentially play it on your own if you wanted to, with like the game running itself. So like it's very much like very low effort when it comes to the technical aspects, which like opens you up to like putting more effort on the narrative part, which is the shit that I like. So it was really fun. I read a couple of games in it. It was really fun. But solo leveling is quite overrated though. TF with the hot take, but it would provide a good cry. I tried watching the anime with my fiance, and the fact that they take themselves completely seriously, crazy to me. Of solo leveling. Oh, okay, maybe it's a traumatic cry more than anything. For the little ghost bird one. Yes, Murata is the mangaka of One Punch Man. Oh, while anime animation is shit, the manga illustrator a whole nother level. Yeah, I do know Murata then. Frozen Lake. I do know them because I fucking love the actual art style. Yeah. I do have one volume, like one random volume of One Punch Man. Don't even know what number it is. I just saw it on sale in a secondhand store. Got it because I really like the art. Yeah, it's stunning. Think of any major TW under the sun, and Pum Pum probably has it. Lol. I really, I don't understand half of the things you guys are saying. I really want to get into D&D, but I have no time. I just watch D&D sessions on YouTube. Lol, Toto. I mean, yeah. Um, it is a time commitment. You need to put at least like 3 hours a session for it to like mean anything. Four more likely. Yeah, and they don't hide any of them either. They make sure it's disgusting and uncomfortable. It's not fantastical at all. The horror is that everything isn't in it is completely possible. Oh yeah. I okay. I will say I love media that tricks me into watching or reading drama. I love when a media does like, oh, this is just a happy world of fun things. This is a fantasy land. This is sci-fi. This is a horror monster thing. And then it hits you with the actually this was an allegory for trauma the whole fucking time and we're gonna talk about it now and you're gonna fucking cry. It's my favorite type of media because I hate watching dramas, but I love when I'm tricked into it. So yeah, genre fiction that is secretly just what if trauma, best thing ever. Love it. 10 out of 10. Uh Everything Everywhere All at Once is my favorite movie of all time. Me who plays D&D at least twice a week. Yeah, if you want to if you want to talk D&D, Jesse is also the person to go to. Hey, welcome. First, I check with the stream sound. Thank you, Danny. Danish. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good pick, good pick. Yeah. So comics, am I right? Yes. So comics. This I should have turned this into, instead of art, it's just chatting. At this point. Ooh, bright sunlight. Okay, there's sun now. I need to move this metal bin so the sun doesn't reflect on my eye. Cool. Awesome. Uh you have so many opinions. Oh my god. Jesse has so many like in-depth D&D characters. It's great. I'm realizing I like playing D&D. I think I like running D&D more. I think I like DMing more than I like playing. And I fucking love playing, but I think I like DMing a lot more. Cause like when you're playing D&D, like I tend to be very respectful when I'm playing D&D. Like I'm the kind of person that like I want to have moments for my character, but I want to let room for other characters to breathe and have their moments and things like that. I want to add to other people's experience and other characters' experience and stuff. And I realize that like I kind of get to do that a lot more when I'm DMing, because then I'm like designing those moments for those people. And also I get to do all of the voices, and I fucking love doing the voices. It makes me very happy to do the voices. So yeah, it's great, and I don't have to keep one voice consistent for a very long amount of time, because I can hop between voices for different people, which is also very fun. Bad at keeping voices consistent, especially for one of characters. When I've gotten fucked is like when I've done like a very bold voice choice for a character because they were going to be a one-off, but then the party gets attached to the character and now you have to try and find that voice again. That is fucked, but other than that, it's very fun. Also love work of Hero, has the artist of Kevy's sailor uniform. The pen drawings are just so pretty. Well, gosh, I need to Google all these names now. Kevy's sailor uniform. Boop. Boop. The boops are me copy pasting. Oh, that is very pretty. Oh man. Especially the like the watercolor covers, like they're so soft. That's really nice. Oh, there's this very gorgeous art book that we found at a bookstore the other day. I think it's like rooms or interiors or something like this. Is this like manga artist that essentially just illustrated like a couple of panels of like different girls' lives and what the rooms look like and their like morning routines and stuff. Like it is the most casual slice of life thing, but those rooms are just absolutely fucking gorgeous. Like it is the coziest shit you've ever seen. It's gorgeous. But yeah, anyways, so the idea is that yeah, you get this introduction to that, oh, there's something going on here. Then when you turn the page, because again, very important that because it's like physical media, we do get a turn of the page. Boom, big splash of like evil thing comes up. Well, it's not evil, but you know, big monster comes up, shocks the protagonist. We get that reaction shot. Then from this kind of like terror, we get like competence, and then we get into the action. There's like this kind of like thing driving us through this turnaround, like the way the eyes are looking kind of guides you here. There's this like a lot of movement, but essentially you do get to have this kind of like spiral out of this kind of like comic, but again with a lot of chaos and back and forth going, because that's kind of what I want for this one. I don't want it to be smooth. I want it to feel jaggedy and weird and like, oh shit, there's so much going on. So yeah, that's kind of like the vibe for like the flow of this. But also love the work of oh, I see. Yes, okay. I was almost reading your thing twice. I need to blow my nose again. Gosh darn it. I love how I will say fuck, but then suddenly I go with gosh darn it. Yeah. I contain multitudes, folks. Multitudes. Okay, so I'm putting these side by side to remind myself that like, you know, it's an open booklet and this is kind of like how you're reading it. So essentially what I want now is to create like build up to that urgency. So we have this calm that like essentially builds up and puts us in the middle. We have like the chaos right now. We're gonna calm this down again a little bit. We're gonna go from this to like a very like establishing shot to kind of like give us a sense of like what's happening, what's going on, like a bit wider, you know. Like going back to like the like boat from afar, like managing to escape. It's not that as far as it used to be, but essentially like we're putting the boat here, and oops, I'm drawing this on the wrong layer. Great stuff, great stuff. Okay, now we're drawing it in the right layer, right? Yes, okay. So we're putting the boat over here, and again the boat is turning more and more into a spaceship the more I draw it. This is why it helps to actually have these things drawn beforehand. But yeah, and we can have now, we can show the like, with giving it kind of like a fin at the back. Again, the design, we need to actually be more consistent with it. But like we can show like the giant like fin of the creature following the boat as like it goes through the water, to again kind of like give us this idea of like, you know, there's a lot of urgency, shit is happening, shit is bad, monster is behind us now. We go back to like the monster is behind us feeling. From this, I think we're gonna get like a little bit of back and forth between her and her partner, before finally we get like a show of like the ship coming in as like the like the beast devours the kind of like thing. So like I kind of want to build up to like, you know, oh, you're coming into like pick me up kind of moments, like where like the whatever again, it really helps to have these designed. Hello, hey, how you doing, Mr. Soap? It really helps to have these designs before you get started with this shit. But like, yeah, like we're going from this to like the ship just coming down here and like picking her up essentially, as like the thing is about to like blow kind of thing. So like that's kind of like the culmination of this scene. Um we want to like showcase that little bit of action, and then focus on the idea that like it's a very traditional comic book, like big action monster stuff. And I like focus on the idea that like, you know, the like potential loss of life, loss of property, like dangerous job, risking your life, is it worth it kind of vibes. So yeah, so like big thing, the giant thing is following her, and we can see her here like panicked, like like looking for like her partner as like she continues to like drive around. We have the eggs, and we can see the fins up here following, and like she's like, hey, so like right about now would be a great time for you to show up, you know, like before I die would be awesome. And dialogue blip, and maybe we get a little bit of more back and forth between them before we actually like get to that, or like we kind of like we can establish the actually, yeah, let's do like, let's pretend I wrote some really nice witty dialogue between them, that I totally have written, and like they're really fun back and forth, that's going on like this. And then we can have like a shot from the top, seeing like, because this is the fun thing that I like about comics, is that you can really change like perspectives really fucking wildly. So we're gonna draw like the little ship over here with like the trail, and then the giant like, you know, like shadow of the creature over here like following it. And we can pretend like I wrote good dialogue. If I actually continue with this, I'm like putting, yeah, witty, very funny, very cool, very awesome. If I continue this, I am putting myself in a situation where I'm going to be forced to actually write dialogue. Uh, so the fun thing is, we're establishing here that like the normal white bubbles are gonna be just like her, talking, whereas like we'll probably have like a green floating thing as like the response from like the comms of her, like her partner. So like it means that like at this point we've kind of established who's talking. So like we can have a white one and a green one, and a white one and a green one, and we'll kind of understand who it is that is talking right now, because we haven't introduced anyone else. There's nothing else going on other than like both of them talking to each other. So like, yeah, so like we can have them like in conversation with each other right now, like this, and just like like having like a thing, like them bickering. I like the idea that they bicker, but not in like a mean way, just in like in a fun way. So yeah, so like we're essentially gonna have some very fun, very witty dialogue that everyone's gonna love, and critics are gonna say, "Wow, incredible dialogue, best dialogue I've ever read in my life, by a mile." So that's what we're gonna have over here. Insert witty dialogue here. Exactly, Mr. Soap. We'll write later. Uh, so yeah, a little bit of a back and forth, and like I like the idea of the contrast between like them bickering about something that doesn't matter while she's in like mortal danger, and then giving some like idea of like, yeah, it'd be a good time if you like came up and like rescued me. So then we can like showcase like the her ship coming down then to like do the actual like rescuing. So I think I want to have her ship like coming down in the opposite kind of direction, because again we've been going like left to right a bunch, so like we're going like right to left now. And again, like you could see how like even here without any of the dialogue, because like there's no dialogue here, like you can see the flow. Like this is a side view. We're going here we pick up the dialogue that leads to her face, that then leads to the dialogue right here, which then leads to the dialogue here, and we finish over at the bottom. Like this is kind of the thing that you want to do with this. Like you want to be able to control that kind of like flow a little bit and create something where like you're guiding the viewer's eye through whatever the fuck is going on. I might actually move this bubble. And again, I like I'm not a lettering artist. I forgot what the actual term is. I'm not someone who does dialogues for comic books, but you do want to make sure that like you have like a nice flow between them, and it's like the rule is essentially like to like left to right, again western, let's not talk manga, but if you're writing manga it's the other way around. It's left to right and then top to bottom. Like this is how you're going. So like if I want someone to read this, like if I start here at the, because this one's on top and this one's on the bottom, even though this one's on the right, I'm gonna read this one first and then go to this one here. So like we're doing here, then this one is on the right, then again like back down here. So you know, weird dialogue bubbles I've placed here to fill up the space, but it does create that like very clear way of reading this entire panel. Anyways, yes, let's get back to business to defeat the Huns. So the idea is that her wife is going to come down the opposite kind of direction. I always appreciate colored word bubbles. It makes reading bubbles spoken by characters that are off screen a real pain without it. Yeah, unless you're not supposed to know which of the obvious. Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, 100%, Mr. Soaps. I like how like as well like different colors and textures with like, or even like different fonts can really help you like tell the vibe of like what someone sounds like and stuff like that. Like it is always nice. There's like that unspoken rule that like that weird off yellow one essentially means like narrator. Like whenever you have this square that doesn't have any bubbles and it's like this off yellow kind of thing, it's a narrator. And then like the white ones are the characters on screen, and you do have the little we call these ponytails. I forgot what they're called in English, but the coletilla, the little ponytail. um yeah, the little things pointing to the character and stuff. But yeah, also having like the actual, wait, let me write witty dialogue, right, witty dialogue, there we go. Like the actual like having like the actual like floating things, if you have like established who is talking and stuff like that, like it is a lot easier. Like if I do this one in green for example, or like in a more techie kind of like configuration to kind of like showcase that it's a radio talking, or like I add like any sort of like little like things here at the panels to kind of like showcase at the edges that it's like technical, or like something like that. It means that like when we're having a conversation between these two, it's not going to be a struggle for you to tell who the fuck's saying what. So yeah, good like positioning of dialogue boxes. So dialogue bubbles, very important. Word bubbles are a thing that you definitely need to like think about when you're drawing comics. And again, like you can have like a page like this, and after you've done it, find places for like word bubbles to be at. But it is a lot better when you have like you've thought about it ahead of time and you make your panels and your word bubbles work together. Sorry, guys. Like for example here, I'm not like writing any onomatopoeias, but I might have like a big whoosh or splash or something like that following like the shapes that I'm like introducing here or something like that, like that could be added later. But the idea of like having like a word bubbles, I think it's cool to like already know where the heck they're going. um Water break. Amazing. Okay, so yeah, so these are the vibes. So essentially we're gonna now cut to, I think, a cut to, see, this is my storyboarding background speaking. I think we're gonna now introduce like the ship in the distance. I think a cool idea to do is like we have the boat, we know that she's going somewhere. Blip blip blip, she's going somewhere. We have like the thing, we have the ocean again, low horizon kind of thing. And then we can introduce like this ship coming down. So like again, this is absolutely zero design consideration. So what we could do is like do some like clouds around it to kind of like point at it, or like even like cloud shapes like this to kind of like point towards it, or like even frame it as like the thing that's coming down and stuff. So yeah, so like it gives us like an idea of like that's what we're looking at, that's what we're supposed to be looking at. And that's where she's headed now. It's like, yeah, they're meeting each other. So it gives us the chance to now like create even more tension, because what I want to do is like ramp up the tension and then release at like her essentially jumping off of the boat to try and get on the ship. So yeah, so like I think maybe like seeing the actual like monster coming in, like a little panel over here of like the monster, or a big panel in this case, of like the monster actually like getting closer and like rising out of the water, maybe like again to do like another like jump towards the ship. And yes, the size of the monster is varying widely from one shot to another. That's okay. That's for later me to worry about. Don't you worry about it right now. It's fine. Um yeah, let's make this a lot fucking bigger to give it way more impact. And let's actually have the worm thing come out of the panel here to again give it more impact. We need more momentum. He has to be coming more this way, so like we can continue that speed that we have set up already. And we're probably having him be like outside of the panel to kind of like give us that sensation of like danger that's coming in, of importance of this kind of like moment. um Wrong one over here. And then like having like the little ship over here, like, and it's like about to be hitting her essentially. And then like her being like, oh shit. So I'm trying to think of how I want to resolve this, because again, I haven't written this at all. So I don't actually know how I want to resolve this. It could be that she shoots the thing down. It could be that like she just like manages to jump on board. I like the idea of them not like managing to get all of the cargo they came for, because like it does create like this dichotomy with like this tension. Not dichotomy, dichotomy is the wrong word there. It does create this tension of like, yeah, we risked our lives, but we barely got any reward out of it. Also, let's make this tilted. Let's tilt the horizon here to make it more impactful. Yeah, so like over here, and then over here, and then maybe have the thing there. Okay, so this is gonna have to be a lot smaller. I'm trying to fit everything in here. So this is gonna be a lot smaller, and the ship's gonna be more to the left. There we go. Farther away. We're just introducing the idea of the ship coming down. And this is gonna be up here, with like the claws of the monster coming out of here. And we're gonna have like that, the little like close up maybe of like the ship, her like Lila's ship over here, like coming down. It's a box, guys. I haven't designed a ship, so it's a box. Look at this cool ass ship that I've made. Wow, so amazing, so cool. Again, we're like trying to get back into the action. We got a little bit of calm here because of the dialogue, and now we want to like get a little bit more action going. It just looks like a sand crawler that's also a starship, but yeah, this is what the ship looks like. This is why you design things before you you sit down to do this. Okay, so ship's coming down. We've established it here. We get like a little bit of a zoom of the ship coming down to like build some tension. The things coming out here, we get like, we're gonna get like the face of like looking back, of like fuck again. And then like, oh shit. And then like we even get like we can see the thing in the background over here maybe. And then I think we're gonna get like that resolution here. I just don't know what the resolution is gonna be. Maybe we can, I don't know. I don't really know how to finish this story actually. I don't know what I want it to, I don't know what I want to happen. I don't really know what I want to happen here. I'm literally making this up as we go, so um I don't know. Maybe, yeah, let's draw the ship again out here with the like little thingies, things coming for it. Maybe we just like build tension even more and just cut. We just focus on like the windscreen of the ship coming down, and her wife being like driving it, so we can introduce the wife as well in like this epic moment, but just like driving the ship. This is what a window of a ship looks like. Don't at me. Um, this is why you design ships, folks. She's driving in her little chair. It's coming down. Yeah, we could use it as like a way to like build more tension, and then like actually put off the actual doing something to the next pages. Yeah, I think we might do that. Um, so the thing is coming here, and it's like maybe she's like hold on, or something like that. You know, so like it's like hold on, you know, a little bit of like hold on. And then we can like introduce that this radio transmission kind of like thing was coming from this lady over here. Yeah. So like the ship is over here, like we can see kind of the cockpits, and we can have like the first view of like what her wife looks like inside the ship over here in the panel. These are the radio panels, by the way. We can have the first actual like shot of her wife over here, being like, hold on 1 second, I've got it. Also driving. They're both driving. This is the episode of driving. So yeah, and then like her saying, hold on, hold on. So we can transform the radio voice into like this lady, and now we like, yeah, that's kind of nice. That's kind of cool. We're like essentially like giving the speech like a face. We don't need to do that. We can just do it here. We're essentially giving like the speech like a face now. Like the radio chatter turns into like dialogue now, because now we know who's saying it. And we've introduced that the ship is coming down. The thing is about to eat her up, and she's being like, "Wait for it, wait for it. I gotcha." Yeah, that's pretty good. Again, building a lot of tension. I'm very bad at the release part. Oh god, that could be terrible out of context. But no, I'm pretty good at the building up tension. It's just like actually doing something about it. That's kind of annoying because you have to actually do something with it. But that said, let's actually do something with it. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours. We might as well like finish the scene at the very least. So yeah, it's kind of nice. I feel like we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're getting 7 pages out of it. That's not bad. This could be like a couple more, and we could make it like one of those like monthly comic book things you get from like the superhero things. What are they called? Like an issue, a comic book issue. Yeah. Hmm. Don't know how many pages that one actually has. It probably might be like more like 20 or something, but yeah. So yeah, so essentially it's like this idea. You guys can see this is the fun part for me. I enjoy this a lot, the actual like structural work, whereas like getting into the actual nitty-gritty and cleaning it up is more boring for me. But actually like finding the structure and like trying out these things and like experimenting with it, it's just good vibes. And yeah, do I recommend you do exactly what I'm doing here and just like jump into planning out an entire comic book when you don't even have anything written or designed? Maybe. I mean, maybe, maybe, but just know it's gonna be harder. You are making your life harder by doing this. So don't do this if you want a nice breezy first comic book. Best thing you can do is have something written, or even actually like I don't know. I've never actually worked off of a comic book script. The only like comic book scripts I've worked off of is ones that I've written myself. And when I write them, I essentially write them like movie scripts. So yeah, cool idea might be to like grab a scene from a movie and try to like turn it into comic book pages. So like you could always find film scripts all over the place. So yeah, if that's something you want to try out and you don't want like the actual like commitment of having to write something yourself, if you have no story to tell. It's like I have nothing to say. Yeah. Okay, so hold on. And then because again we're at the moment where we're turning the page, it means that like it's peak tension. It means we can release it again and like create something interesting. So let's do something hard but interesting with like some perspective. Let's get the wife's spaceship in here. Like let's do a little bit of a splash page. Let's get the wife's her name is Lila. I'm just calling her the wife. uh, she's so much more than that. But yeah, no, let's get her spaceship coming down over here. And again, it helps when you design the spaceship before you draw the panel. Let's get her spaceship coming down and be like over here maybe. With a little bit of perspective, maybe we have like the beast over here roaring and the little ship and stuff, and like we create like a little bit of a splash moment. Let's see how it goes. I don't know. I'm just testing a composition, seeing if it works out at all, and if not, we're just tossing it. It's fine. This is why drawing like this is so nice. Thumbnails are fun. You could just test it, realize you fucking hate it, and then never again. Uh, yeah. So something like this we could do, or like we could add like a bunch of clouds over here to like center us on what's going on, like a little bit of like clouds coming in and like air rushing around the ship and stuff like that, and then like focus on the ship coming down onto the scene. This could be a thing we could do. and just add like a little bit of dialogue over here, but there's nothing really we want to say. So what we want to do is like have the rescue. I'm just delaying the inevitable, aren't I? Okay, let's do a rescue. So from the point of view of the ship, um we're gonna have the big ship like essentially go to like the side, like do a little bit of a turn that we can show through the like thrusters. There's like a little bit of a turn and opening of doors, of the cargo doors or whatever. It has doors on the side. Don't question it. It's a space truck. So it's gonna do like one of these like 180s where it's like coming down. But maybe it's got thrust. I don't know. Let's not design the ship. Okay. So it's gonna do like one of these where essentially like it opens up some doors, and we're gonna have our tiny ship coming down here. But like it's ball cargo. Yeah, and the menacing thing. What I think we're gonna do is that we're gonna push this over here so we can have the menacing thing. Scales are a bit off, but that's okay. So this one's coming in here. This one's coming through here. We again gotta use the water as like a way to show direction and speed. And then what we're gonna do, I think, is we're gonna use the monster as like a way to frame all of this with like the weird claw things around its mouth. We're gonna use it as like a way to frame this kind of moment and continue that sense of oh shit that we have going on. So something like that, I think. Maybe, I don't know. It doesn't look good, does it? Maybe fuck the monster. I don't really know how to pay this off, guys. um, let's go from small to big. Did you save? No, thank you, TF. I gotta add one of those drinky things, but for saving. I don't know how to do it. I've been struggling because I've been trying, but like all of the ones like the drinking and the posture one are like defaults. And I really want to add one that just says save. Thank you, TF. Mm. Yeah, I'm not really sure how to do this, guys. But something along these lines, like I think what I want her to do is like jump onto the ship or something like last minute. Um, maybe she gets the ship on board. Okay, so maybe so this is choreography at this point. Like I'm writing and trying to figure out choreography. So maybe what we're gonna do is we're gonna have the like fish thing, the monster slam back down onto the ground and then like lift up, and then the ship's gonna kind of like ride the monster into the starship. Maybe. Okay. Maybe we do that. Maybe we do that. So the ship's gonna be coming down onto the water like this. So we're gonna have this like ship like essentially doing like a little bit of a turn like that onto the water, onto the side. Yeah, I think so. So, so maybe instead of having the mouth here, we just like have the, yeah, we're gonna go back and fix this. So there's not gonna be big mouth here. There's just gonna be big mouth like it's in like it's kind of out here. And then like it's big sail is like coming out as it's rushing behind us. Behind our protagonist. Yeah, I think that's better. So something like that. We just have like a big like of it's it's menacing and it's close by, but it's not like a bum to launch now. So we can have like our thing, like our protagonist up here close by, like writing or something, or we could just can we make this like a panel? Yeah, we can make this a panel. Yeah, let's make this a panel. This must be riveting content right now. Watching a man slowly figure out what the fuck he's even doing. Okay. So, if we do something like this, to kind of like showcase that she's coming down, let's have like a background of like the ship before, like coming in here. So like this was outside the panel, so like this is what was happening. This is what's happening now. I think we're doing something like this. Yeah, I like this idea. So we're having her like land. Let's do like the clouds to kind of like take us down here. So like, yeah, we're having her like coming in and then like turning like that. And then the monster, should we have the monster come from underneath and then like push it up? Maybe. Oh, I'm so bad with choreography. I don't know why I decided to do an action scene, guys. Okay. So the fun thing, just let me explain for a second. The fun thing, I'm saying this if you guys interrupted me, but like the fun thing about this is like we basically have like a little cutaway panel within like this more like this larger kind of like drawing. And essentially what it does is like it allows us to like showcase a different point in time within the same kind of view. So like we're seeing this same scene, but here's a different point in time where like the shuttle is coming down with its doors open closer to the actual like ocean. Like we can see it coming here and then turning around, but just by like putting this thing in a panel of its own, we're essentially saying, hey, this is a different separate point in time, and because this one's above and this one's below, we know that like it's following that, and also we know the direction it was coming in movement wise before, so like we follow that and we know that it just did a little turn. So it's kind of like a way of communicating that. And yeah, and I'm not 100% sure how to finish this. I'm putting a lot of importance into like the action here, but like it doesn't really matter really a lot, because again, like this isn't even like an important project or anything, but like I'm getting into it now, so so yeah, maybe I have like maybe yeah, I'm gonna have like yeah, I'm gonna do like a 3 panel thing here. So we're gonna do this white one and divide it into like 3 even ones. So I'm doing a 3 panel here because I'm gonna do a little bit of dialogue and then like an action moment. So the action moment's going to be the ship over here. Let me just draw this bit first because it's the hardest bit to draw anyways. Ship over here with like the doors wide open. Cargo doors hovering above the water. So like the water's like moving a little bit underneath. And then the smaller ship is like coming in here. Yeah. Like that, make it smaller. So we're gonna have Lila over here essentially, just like that, like looking at her here on this side. saying like florid over the shoulder. This is Layla. You can tell by how well I'm drawing her. Hey, Basil Sushi, it's a miracle. Welcome, Sushi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm awake in time for Thursday Gomel stream. Oh my god, Sushi. Welcome. Oh my god, you don't have work until 3 p.m. That's amazing. Oh yeah. Party, 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 party. Oh my god. Can't believe you made it. Amazing. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I'm gonna have to do all of the streams at the same time because now that I'm with my partner, by the time like she gets back is when I would be starting the Monday ones, and I don't want to have her, have me live here talking to myself while she's just sneaking around her own apartment. So yeah, I'm so glad to have you here, Sushi. That's so nice. Okay, so um. she's basically just gonna say Florets here. Like she's gonna be like just push, and we're gonna cut to a little moment of like decision making over here. So we have Terra over here like thinking like what does she mean? This is my face most of the time. Um and then be like, yeah, let's fucking do this. Yeah, amazing. Look at these drawings, guys. The intensity, the power, the emotion. Somehow, yes. I'll be chatting less because I'll be drawing too, by the way. No worries at all. We're we're doing this today for some reason. I decided I wanted to tackle comic books. So yeah. So she's gonna essentially like tell her to just like push, like just fucking floor it, like go faster. And she's gonna push down and like she's gonna go forward, and we're gonna see them try to like shove the ship inside here, essentially, like the tiny ship. So I think that's what we're gonna do. They're gonna just generally like try to get that ship in there somehow. So yeah, this is like the wide shot of that happening. I think we ought to add like a little bit of like cloud over here to kind of like guide us down to this moment. Um, and like a little bit of something over there. Um, maybe go back to like reminding people that we're in a different planet. Yeah, there we go with the gas giant over here. But yeah, so she's gonna be like just like fucking like push it. And that's what she's gonna do. And then because again this is a spread, we can have everything in the other end. Look at the detail, yes. Look at such expressions, such detail. This is gonna be a thumbnail. Uh thumbnail for the VOD. But yeah, so essentially like again, let's like it's gonna culminate in I think there's okay. Do I have a reference for this? There's this comic book series called Headlopper, and I fucking love how they do action scene in that series. How they do action scenes, it's so good. I'm gonna try and do that. It's absolute incredible comic book series. Like I'm really loving it, and the way like they do action is just absolutely peak. So let me see. I know I have one of those panels here somewhere. What's your favorite part of making comics? Hey, real life Jermaine, welcome, welcome, welcome. Favorite part of making comics? This I think it's the layout. It's the storytelling. Again, not professional comic book artist. I do mostly storyboarding when I do like sequential storytelling and things like that. So like my favorite part is really like figuring it out, like figuring out how I'm going to lay things out and like the structure and like this kind of part. Like literally having this done makes me very very happy. But yeah, no, I on top of that, I do very much enjoy things like character design and other aspects of the art. My least favorite part is by far cleaning up panels by like a long shot, like a wide margin. That is very much my least favorite part of anything, much less comics, because there's a lot to clean up when it comes to comics. But yeah, Do I have one? Yeah, I do have one here. Okay. So this is from an old class. This is from an old class. I've got them up. I haven't made a proper announcement, but I do have some of the old classes up on Patreon. If people do wanna like take a look at them. I haven't finished setting on my Patreon. Like, there's a lot to do and stuff. But like, yeah. I'll when I make an announcement, I've like prepared like a discount code and stuff for like the classes and stuff. So like, if you wanna any of like the older class recordings where like I run through all of this, like it's a thing. But essentially, like, there's this really fun thing in Headlopper where like they repeat the characters throughout the action, and you do get like a lot of like these beats all in like sequential order like this, and I can't help but love that. Like, Headlopper in general is a great fucking example of like action. Um, yeah, I should I should look more at these for like inspiration. It is insanely good at doing at doing any sort of action. Like, you just focus on that moment where he fucking lips off of a horse. Like, it's great. It's amazing. It's comedic and epic all at the same time. Great stuff. But yeah, as if you were about to tell me the Patreon was fully up the 1 week I don't have the money to sub, I was gonna flip my entire shit. Don't worry, Master Sushi. Patreon is not up yet. The plan for the Patreon is I'm going to like have like a couple of different things on the Patreon. There's gonna be the old classes. I've got old classes, the ones I run with wing cameras and stuff. The ones that I think are good, those are gonna go in there by topics and stuff, and you'll be able to just like buy like the 2 hour class to just like do it if you want to, just a one-off purchase, so you don't need to like subscribe to anything or anything like that. It's just like, hey, I'm interested in this. There you go. Yeah, Wing Canvas jump scare, I know. The thing about Wing Canvas is because like most of the mentorships and classes I just like run entirely on my own. So like, yeah, it's just me talking in a class to myself, a class that I've run completely alone. So those are there. And I did get very technical in a lot of the other plays. Exactly, Mr. Soap. I did get really technical in a lot of them. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, like, there's like fairly technical classes there and stuff if you want to like run through it. And then like the thing is, I'm gonna be starting to do classes again, and when I do that, the Patreon is gonna be a way for you to do that. There's also gonna be like a lower tier for you to be able to just like get the recordings of both the old and the new classes for you to like watch whenever the heck you want to, because if that's something you want to do. But then like there's gonna be like the higher tier is essentially gonna be like a live classes every week kind of thing. So yeah, almost like there wasn't correct structure for the curriculum. Yes, exactly. Exactly. There was absolutely no structure or curriculum. Like, I just did whatever I thought I should do because there was no guidance or anything. Um, yeah. Anyways, we managed to do interesting stuff despite it, but yeah, well, let's go. Everybody cheers. So yeah, no, I'm setting it up. It's just going way fucking slower than I thought it would go because, God, it's fucking hard to set up a Patreon, turns out. Yeah, and it's gonna be linked directly to the Discord, so like you get certain roles with Discord and stuff. Also, any Patreon subscription and stuff's gonna give you the role that allows you to vote, same as like being subscribed to Twitch. If you didn't know, I should start advertising these things. I should have a fucking script. Yeah, for everyone who showed up today and is completely new, we have a Discord. Did I copy paste it? Let me actually share the Discord. I'm so fucking good at this. Um, we have a Discord, folks. It's nice. We chat. It's not too big. It's not too crowded. It's not too overwhelming. Uh, thank you, Mr. Soap. Yeah, no, I need to set up a command. So, yeah, Sushi, I need to set up a command. Okay, so we have a Discord. On the Discord, oh, I'm dying. On the Discord, before every stream, I essentially give like a little poll of like options for things we could do on the stream, and anyone who's like a sub on Twitch can vote for it. So like every one of the Patreon roles will also get you that. So don't worry about that. But yeah, essentially It's a nice spot, and you can see what the fuck's going on. Cause yeah, I'm bad at announcing things. I'm bad at social media. I'm bad at being a Twitch streamer in general. So it is a place where you can generally just tag me and be like, "Hey Gonzalo, what the fuck is going on?" And I will respond. Discord, yeah. Okay. This cannot, this cannot go on. Okay, let's do. I think I want to do one of those, essentially, where like we just have the slow motion action happening of like the ship coming down as low as it can, with like the open doors, something like that. Again, the I know the actual like measurements and scales are so fucking wrong, but it's fine. We're fine. Everyone's okay. Yeah. Once like if this actually does turn into like a proper comic book and like I actually clean it up or whatever the fuck, then I'll make it nice. Until then it's just gonna look like this. Funnily enough, I do have a storyboard of like something similar, because like essentially like I do have like one little fan script that I've been trying to like get good at script writing, and like I joined like a bunch of discords for it and stuff like that, and like did a bunch of challenges. So I did write like a little script of these two gals, and it's a similar idea of like them just hopping in the ship and then bickering. And I did like a test board for one of the old shall not be named place, for one of their YouTube videos, and I think it's still up. But yeah, the editing was rushed a lot, and it's not great. And I wanted to turn it into a whole animatic, but they didn't want the budget for it, and it's not a great video, but it's still out there. So yeah, if you want to see me do bad, then it's on the the Waiting Canvas. They shall not be named. I just named them YouTube channel. So yeah, do it in incognito tab so it doesn't count as a view. Okay. I did not think this through today. This is not the correct perspective I want to go with. Yeah, this is not at all the correct perspective I want to go with. Okay. I'm gonna go with something more like this. There we go. Yeah, I want to go with something more like this. Boop. Lemo, the walking sketchbook. Exactly. It's not wing canvas. It's the walking sketchbook. Hey, posture. Oh, thank you, TF. Oh man, it's really sunny now. It's getting kind of warm. God damn. What's with this weather? Okay, we're fit. I'm calling it at the 30-minute mark, so we're we gotta finish this. I fucking hate this. This is awful. I don't like this. I'm not gonna do this. This not no. I don't like this. Okay. Um let's go way wider, maybe. Yeah, that might be the problem. Let's go way fucking wider. Like way bigger. Go from wide from to wider. I don't know what this this thing. Yeah, I don't want to crop things. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a wing canvas. No. Oh, hydrate. Thank you, Battle Sushi. Mm. Okay. So, see, this is the problem. Like, I generally just thought through this. Like, before starting this stream, I was like, okay, this bit at the beginning, I know what I'm kind of gonna do. Like, this is where my thought process ended. Just here. That's it. So like I had this planned. And like planned, I mean that I thought what I was gonna do. And now we're here and I'm like shit, I don't fucking know what's gonna happen. Yeah, okay, it's fine. It's okay. We're rolling with the punches. Okay. I've got to go since you're probably ending soon. Bye. Yeah, no worry, Mr. Soap. Bye bye bye. Thank you so much for showing up. Have a great day. I'll see you next week. Bye. By the way, if you're wondering why I call him Mr. Soap, is because I refuse to pronounce it in French. Because if I do, I'm gonna sound like I'm gonna do a silly French voice. I know it's inevitable, so I'd rather say Mr. Soap. I'd rather just do that than make an incredibly offensive and racist French voice. It's my it's my attempt at not getting cancelled instantly. Okay, there we go, something like that. Uh, having the like water kind of like respond to it. Maybe now I'm getting too in the weeds, but like something like this, I think. And then like the ship being over here with like some of the eggs falling off, and the water splashing beneath it, and then the kind of like giant thing. Giant monster thing with the sharp teeth coming in from here. Yeah. So something like that I think works better for this. Like if we're trying to replicate the vibe of of like that specific comic book, I think it's something more like this. And then what we could do is like we can zoom in closer with every single one. So like we could now what I'm gonna do is we're gonna zoom in closer to kind of like redefine what's going on a lot more better. A lot more better. Words, they're flowing out like endless stream into a paper cup. Okay, so something like that. Again, like a little bit of water stuff's like it's getting affected by the hovering engines. Of course, you know how these ships, I mean, everybody knows they have hovering engines. Do I even have to tell you about the hovering engines? Uh, so she's just like booking it right here. And then we can see things a bit closer up. We can see some of those eggs falling off as we go. We actually get to see her like standing essentially up to the thing. She's like driving with one hand, standing to the thing. And yeah, and I think we're not getting any of the fucking eggs. I think they're just fucked. What better thing to do to your characters than just royally screw them over? So like the big monster again, it would help if the big monster is actually defined, but yeah. And then like just fully zoomed in to like her just jumping. I think the French should be okay if you do. Yeah, those bars were in mine, by the way. That's the Beatles. Words are flowing out like and stream into a paper cup. It's from the Beatles song "Across the Universe." Um, fucking wish I came up with that. Yeah, I think she's gonna have to like just jump essentially. So yeah, we're gonna have her like just jump for her fucking life. Wow, such art. Very drawing. Plagiarism or something. Exactly. No, I thought people were aware. Yeah, no, those are not my bars. That's them Beatles bars. Um, okay. So this is the problem: as you start zooming in, you realize how little of a ship you have designed, and it kind of makes things hard to like show how you're zooming in. So something like this, essentially. Essentially. God, I do say essentially a lot, don't I? So yeah, I think this is the thing. I'm gonna not, because of the complexity of this thing, I'm not gonna be as cool as the headlopper writer, and I'm actually gonna panel this thing out. So this is getting a panel, and this thing is getting a panel too. Oops, sorry, that's my. Oh, my partner's on the bus. Perfect timing. Okay, we've hit the 30-minute mark, and my partner's on the bus home. So perfect timing, because I do need to go out and open the door for her, because we do only have one set of keys, and I have that set of keys because I was out shopping. So shopping for food, okay? I'm not. I was shopping for food. I wasn't getting myself trinkets or anything like that. Yeah, so we'll have like the big beast essentially here, like swimming, or even like I don't know. Are we back to? I'm just gonna go back to the big sail fin. Yeah, just don't want to do the thing. But yeah, so we're getting closer and closer up until this moment, and then we're probably gonna have like an explosion. Like she's gonna roll into the ship last second. The smaller ship's gonna crash into the bigger one, and stuff like that. But we're calling it, guys. We've done seven whole thingies. I think we're calling it. Nobody caves in like 5,000 VC or whatever. Lemo, babe, wait outside for a few more minutes. I'm ending stream. Exactly. I'm not doing that, Sushi. So, we're calling it. Thank you very much for everyone for showing up. Yeah, I feel like let's run through it together and just like, alien planet, big ocean. I've got the thing, Lila. Did it follow you? And then from kablam, oh holy fuck. Dodge to one side, thing splashes back into the water. This is meant to be a tail. Like the ship kind of like dodges, then turns the other side. Um, thing comes out of the water menacingly, and she's driving away as like the fin from the thing is like chasing her, and she's like, hey, this would be a nice time for a pickup, if you could hurry. Witty dialogue between married partners. Creepy thing under the water following the thing. We see the ship, ship comes down, and then we see like, it's not a good situation, the thing's still following, and she's like, hold on, hold on, hold on. And we see the ship, and we are introduced to the voice behind the radio, and we see the ship do a turn around, and she's like, floor it. She's like, what? Okay. Fucking flooring it. Shoom, shoom, jumps, and no climax for you guys. Sorry. I'm just leaving you hanging. Big explosion. They survive somehow and manage to escape. The end. Thank you everyone for showing up today. Goddamn. Yeah, this was surprisingly fun. I generally really like doing this kind of stuff. So yeah. Yeah, it's very rude. Sorry, Sushi. Lemma, the automode was like climax. You can't say that. But yeah, so this was what we did today. Thank you very much. I'm glad I named it blocking and paneling and not finishing an entire comic book in one stream. But yeah, no, just a little bit of visual communication, a little bit of how I go about doing this kind of thing when I'm trying to like tell a story through panels and comics and stuff like that. And yeah, just really really glad you guys showed up. I hope I know I did a little bit more like explaining things today and stuff. I hope that was very useful. And I will see you all next Thursday. I'm gonna miss having twice a week streams, but it's just not possible right now. So I will see you all next Thursday. Hopefully, I'll have good announcements next Thursday. I can update on how the Patreon's going and where the classes are going and stuff. But yeah, and and yeah, if anyone of the two people that commissioned me this past week are watching, yeah, I'm gonna get to those this week. I'm so excited. But yeah, hey Vin, welcome. Woo, bye, and hello, Vin. Hello and goodbye. I'm gonna let's hope I'm up early enough this Thursday. Oh, unlikely, but it would be very nice. Guys, stop. Yeah, Vin, we're about to go. Okay, let me see if I can. Hello and goodbye. Yes, we missed you, Vin. Very very happy to see you though. Let's see if I can actually pawn you off on someone. Is anyone we know already online? No. Let me look up comic and see if anyone's doing a comic book right now, streaming anything to do with comics. Um, do, 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 do. There might be someone doing comics right now. No, I need to go art and then look. This is the fucking search bar in Twitch sucks. Um, let's see anything tagged art and then just see if anything looks like a comic, and I'll just like throw you there. But yeah. None of this looks like a comic. Goddamn, I can't find anyone doing comics. And none of the people I know right now are online. I want to dump you somewhere. It's really fun. I love doing raids. It's just like, oh, here's a bunch of peeps. Oh my gosh. I did this shit all the time in Win Canvas and somehow still didn't get fired. I mean, yeah, yeah. It was a really well kept organization that run smoothly and with no issues at all. And nobody clipped that. Okay. But no, I generally cannot see anyone doing comics right now. Fucking someone's playing the Hollow Knight and it's on the art tag. What the heck? I mean, Hollow Knight itself is art, so maybe. Um, I think it's just artists blowing off Steam, and they're just like used to having the art tag on it, and they haven't changed it. There's so many games on the art tag. This is insane. Okay, gonna go with there's a Goblin Sims fan, Goblin VTuber. Why not? I don't know who this is. They don't seem to be 18 plus, so we're just gonna raid them. Have fun, guys. Okay, /raid, and there we go. Amazing. Thank you so much, guys, for showing up, and thank you for all the new folks. Remember Discord, and I will see you all next Thursday. Have a great one, guys. Bye bye.